Sometimes, a billion-dollar empire starts with nothing more than a joke. But not just any joke, a joke stitched into history. This is the story of René Lacoste, a tennis legend who took a playful nickname and turned it into one of the most recognizable luxury brands on the planet. It all started with a crocodile, drawn as a joke, worn as a statement, and transformed into a fashion empire. But how did a simple reptile on a shirt become a global status symbol? And why did a world-class athlete decide to build a fashion empire instead of just racking up trophies? The answer begins with a suitcase, a tennis racket, and a bet that René Lacoste couldn't afford to lose. Some people are born into wealth and luxury, expected to follow a predetermined path. But René Lacoste? He had other plans. Born on July 2nd, 1904 in Paris, France, René Lacoste was the only child of wealthy parents, Jean-Marie Magdalene Lariolet and Jean-Jules Lacoste. His father, a successful businessman, wanted René to follow in his footsteps, but René had fallen in love with a sport he barely knew. At just 15, a trip to England introduced him to the game that would change his life: tennis. Obsessed, he picked up a racket and never looked back. But there was one problem: he wasn't particularly good. In a sport dominated by the best of the best, René was just another rich kid with a dream. But as the only child of a successful businessman, Jean-Jules Lacoste frowned at the idea of his son pursuing a tennis career. To him, tennis was a pastime, not a career. So he made a deal with René. He could follow his passion, but only if he became a world champion within 5 years. It was a challenge, a test of determination, and René accepted, driven to prove himself to his father. For 3 years, René trained obsessively, pushing himself beyond his limits. In 1922, he entered his first major competition, Wimbledon. It was a disaster. He lost in the first round to Pat O'Hara Wood. Humiliated but not broken, he tried again the next year, this time in the US National Championship. Luckily, this game was a little better than his last, as he made it to the 4th round before being eliminated. Progress, but not enough. René refused to accept defeat. He trained harder, perfected his technique, and by 1923 he was selected for France's Davis Cup team. It was here that René met 3 players who would change his life: Jacques Brugnon, Henri Cochet, and Jean Barotra. Together they became the most feared tennis team of their time, earning the legendary nickname the Four Musketeers. By 1925, René had his first breakthrough, reaching the Wimbledon finals, only to fall short against his own teammate Jean Barotra. But René wasn't the kind of man to lose twice to the same opponent. Later that year, at the French Championships, he faced Barotra again. This time, he won. It was a major victory, bringing him closer to fulfilling the promise he made to his father. Determined to push further, he intensified his training. By September 1926, he competed in the US National Championship, once again meeting Barotra in the final. René defeated him to claim the title and was ranked #1 in the world by the Daily Telegraph. He had done it, proven that he wasn't just a wealthy kid playing tennis. He was a champion, but little did he know, his biggest victory wasn't on the court, it was on his shirt. In 1923, the French Davis Cup team traveled to Boston to face the Australians. While there, René spotted a beautiful crocodile leather suitcase in a shop window. His captain noticed René's interest and made an unusual wager. Win your match and the suitcase is yours. The round against the Australians did not go well. René lost the match. He never got the suitcase, but what he walked away with was far more valuable. American journalists, fascinated by his relentless playing style, began calling him the crocodile. The name stuck, and René, he embraced it. Back in France, he took the nickname to heart. He had his friend, artist Robert George, sketch a small crocodile, which he then embroidered onto his white tennis jacket. It was more than just a nickname, it was a statement. When he wore it to matches, fans went wild. It was bold, it was stylish, it was uniquely René. At first, the crocodile was just a personal branding. But as René's fame grew, so did the curiosity around the emblem. People didn't just want to watch René play, they wanted to wear the crocodile. And René saw an opportunity where others saw only a joke. Traditional tennis attire at the time was stiff and impractical, long-sleeved button-up shirts that restricted movement. René, always one to innovate, decided to change that. He designed something better, a lightweight short-sleeved polo shirt made from breathable petit-piqué cotton. It was a game-changer. René's personal life was flourishing alongside his innovations. In 1930, he married golfing champion Simone de la Chaume. They were